Festival of India. And we have with us today to interact with you a man who wears many hats. He's a prolific writer, producer, and director, Mr. Shailendra Singh. He would like to make some announcements and talk about his journey so far, and has announced some films. And also, I would request you to introduce the guests also
Yes,
who are with you. Over to you, Mr. Shailendra Singh.
Good afternoon, everybody. Can you hear me?
No.
Is it? Where's the switch? This one? Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. David, my very dear friend, had to rush back to his hotel because he wasn't feeling too well. So he was super excited. He was nearly off the car, but I sent him home. Okay, he's a great buddy, and so we're going to miss him, but we'll cover up for that. This is Mr. Ian Banner, a very dear friend of mine for life, and we've done very interesting things globally in sports and entertainment for more than 2 decades. And he's my strategic partner in this new journey of the 11 films that I'm going to be talking about today. So we together are going to do something that is very interesting, that is films made in India for the world. So that is that's the story that I'm going to unfold amongst you, which possibly is, I don't know, I'm not sure, maybe he can enlighten us, maybe the first time where an Indian filmmaker is announcing a film of 11 slates at IFFI. But just to go back in background a bit, I think it will be interesting editorial to know that I have been part of the cinema industry for more than 2.5 decades. I have produced and released 72 motion pictures, multiple national awards, lots of commercial awards, lots of debuts, whether it's Sujit Sarkar, Vishal Bhardwaj, Salim Suleiman, Vishal Shekhar. My first motion picture, Pyar Mein Kabhi Kabhi, is in the Limca Book of Records for the largest number of debuts in Indian cinema. So that's who I am. But interestingly, this is my first time at IFFI, ever. Thank you for having me. I'm grateful to NFTC, IFFI, IMB Ministry. They've been awesome. It's been a great journey of a lot of warmth, creative conversations that gets us here. This journey was critical for me because in my past, if you reflect upon the work I've done, I've shared a leaflet with you, which will tell you I've articulated the journey of 25 motion pictures in it, which explains that why each of those movies I made. We come from the land of cinema, we come from the land of stories, culture, tradition, art, music, spices. But somehow, for a long time, the focus was not on the stories. The focus was not what cinema is all about, in my opinion, that is. I could be dead wrong, but this is how I feel. You make a cinema because you want to tell a story. It's all driven from wanting to tell a story. Your heart beats to tell a story, so you go out there. Sometimes that story is very big because many people watch it. Sometimes the story is small because less people watch it. Sometimes that story is massive and the whole world consumes it. Sometimes it's a small film and it only works in Kerala or Madhya Pradesh. It doesn't matter. Cinema is all about the fact that you wanted to tell a story and you had the guts to go and tell it. This is what IFFI is all about. IFFI is about, IFFI gives, you have dreams, but IFFI gives you the wings to fly. You come here for what? You come here to meet people who can give you the air beneath your wings, right? People come with ready films to sell, semi-ready films to find co-production deals. This is the platform. This is so proud that our country has a platform like this, and we've been really enjoying the energy, walking the corridors. It's phenomenal. And what happens in IFFI tomorrow can impact not just India, but the entire planet. And for that, I'll speak in the end why. So I'm just going to gently, quickly, because I want this to be really crisp and sweet, because I know that India likes popularity, and that's why I wore this suit. So you won't forget what I look like, because I'm not Rohit Shetty in Karan Johar for you. But that's why, so, nice suit. You will meet later. Okay.
Let me just give a perspective.
Yeah. Yeah.
So hi, well I'm Ian Banner. I'm an African. I come from Cape Town. So we share a love for cricket. And we share something in common. We both had our asses kicked by the Aussies, and I'm not very happy about that, as you don't either. Be that as it may, I'm delighted to be here with my dear friend. As he said, it's a 22-year journey. And we worked together very closely for about 15 years, the first 15 years of our journey. And we did some exciting things, but we enjoyed a lot of frustration as a consequence of global thinking, local delivery. I found, all the opportunity in the world got caught short sometimes by nutting out a little bit here in India and there in a way that stopped us from achieving on the global scale. Now, finally, after a park of 5 or 6 years where he's been doing, long story short film, creative content, stepping back from the motion pictures, he's ready to step out and look at making global cinema with Indian emotion at the heart. And I think if you look at your massive successes globally as Indian cinema, it's all about that story, that Indian emotion that sits at the center of what you're doing. And if you can wrap that with the global sensibilities around budget controls, management, editing, all the things that have been done, frankly, often as well here, but perfected elsewhere, I think you're onto an absolute winner. And that's what Shailendra's talking about. Multi-language films. Doesn't matter what the language is. You can always subtitle, as we see all the time. We're seeing more and more Korean films, even little films out of the Philippines, stuff out of all over in the world now. Thailand, big films coming that are being recognized globally. And I think you in India, if I may say, I've been saying for a long time, I said I'm an African, so even though I'll be called a Westerner, I think I'm a bit different because I'm from Africa. But the sun for me has been setting on the West for 30 years because the West has become corrupted by the dollar. It's all about money. And the emotional connections of family, the value systems that you have here in India have been lost, sadly. These value systems are reflected in Indonesia, 250 million people. What an exciting country. Slated to be the 4th largest economy. Whether you're pro-government, against government, I don't really give a shit, excuse the expression. The reality is India is starting to make it more easy for global business to operate in India. It's been very tough. That's one of the things. It wasn't business friendly. It's becoming more business friendly. I think you're going to enter a golden age in India over the next 20 years. I really do. You're a democracy. It's amazing. English is still a dominant language. It's an international language that's understood. People feel comfortable coming here, international people. It's not this uncertain environment. So, in fact, it's a colorful, wonderful, very, very welcoming environment. So I think just as a context, Shailendra, to what you're talking about, that's one of the reasons why I'm sitting here. I'm terribly excited about this Indian emotion being wrapped up into a global reality. And I think with that, you're going to enjoy much success.
Wow. But that's why now you understand why in Hindi there is a phrase, ek aur ek do nahi hote hain, 11 hote hain. So this is so important that we may not think alike, we may not live alike, we may not eat alike, but our dreams and vision are alike. And that's how this combination is going to work. So quickly, to wrap up, my first time at IFFI, but an interesting trivia for you and everybody else from the organization, that while I didn't come here, but I'm that one creative producer who bought a film quietly sitting in Mumbai without coming to Goa called Khuda Ke Liye, the first Pakistani movie. I bought it, I released it, I had a tough time. Please understand, I don't give visas, the government does. I flew down 13 artists from Pakistan and I did a premiere in Metro Cinema in Mumbai. And it was a phenomenal experience, not because about Pakistan, but it's about that art, culture, cinema has no boundaries. But if our country puts the boundary, I accept it. Okay? So we did that with IFFI, going back, and another film called Ramchand Pakistani from the same director. So I had this beautiful moment and connect with IFFI, but today I'm physically here. So now, just to wrap this game up, the reason we speak about these films, generally, we speak about films and we make announcements in India when we have a director on board, Rohit Shetty, or an actor, Ajay Devgan, Ranveer Singh, Kareena Kapoor, right? It's all about that. But the fact of the matter is, it's about the story, and we all know that. When we go to the cinemas, all you want to watch is a good film. Of course, if these are superstars in it, then obviously we enjoy it even furthermore. But now, look at the world, huh? Pankaj Tripathi is a superstar, Nawaz is a superstar, everybody's a superstar. So we go back to what? Stories. So we actually carried a suitcase, which Nicole wanted me to bring here. Nicole is back there. Nicole, you can come here in this. Okay. We carried all this 11 screenplays. So we actually traveling to IFFI with 11 screenplays in a hand. So those motion pictures are ready. I'm going to run through the films with you right now on the screen. So just have a look. I've already given you a small leaflet. So the first film is Pluto. That's the lineup. Next film is, I'm not going to explain the films because it's all there in the leaflet. You can have a look and then we can chat about it. Whenever you're ready, I'm available. I'm alive and kicking. I love Goa. It's my first home, not my second home. So call me, I'll come. Otherwise, Mumbai. Scavengers, very deep story. This is the film that I'm directing. It's the closest to my heart. It's very intense, very interesting film to make in these times. I hope you understand as journalists what are scavengers. Yes? No? Maybe? Okay, great. People who go down and clean our shit. It was illegal in 2003, but still being done. Anyway, we go back to the next film, Dr. Dang. Very interesting cinema made on humanity. It's about the midday meals, remember? But the funny thing is that humans can kill humans, right? For faith, religion, politics, power. Why can't humans eat humans? You're dark, but it's an entertaining film for a perspective. Dr. Dang, next. Lovers. It's a relationship drama, very interesting for Goa to know. This is a start to finish film to be shot in Goa. Hey ho. Okay, moving on, next. Story of Daniel. This is Russia to Rishikesh. It's a 3-language film starting with Russian, going into English and then into Hindi. It features the greatest living ballet dancer. It's called the James Dean of ballet called Sergei Pulinin. Script screenplay ready. Then the war happened. We hope peace comes to us soon and then we can make the picture. Yeah. Sexaholic. It's a relationship drama, very, very intense cinema about man and woman's relationship. You know what I mean? When a woman needs more than the man can give, then what happens? You call her mad, right? So it's a psychological drama. It's not what you think it is, not 50 Shades of Grey, but it's an intense cinema about equality in relationships. Moving on. You know why I'm giving this summary? So that you know that I know my films. Okay, good. Tigidam, a great film for young people who live together, live in relationship. 3 people, 2 boys, 1 girl live together. And complex story because this young girl is 24 years old, an entrepreneur who's already made her first crore on her own, but wants to have a child but doesn't want a husband. But she comes from a traditional Gujarati family. Imagine what the Dadi thinks of her, right? So it's Tigidam. It's the story. That's why the cacti in the middle. Moving on. Perfect divorce. You know, generally, why should, divorce really hurts the woman? In this case, I wrote a story where I feel that the woman plans the divorce. That's it. Watch out, men. This is the this is the manual for perfect divorce. Okay. Just to let you know that Perfect Divorce is a film to be shot in Canada, start to finish. We're using Indian cast and Canadian cast. Canadian director, 90% cast is Canadian. Sexaholic is to be shot again overseas in Australia. So there are a couple of films that we're shooting overseas, but with Indian casting and Indian values. Khud Ki Khushi is a very interesting film, slightly spiritual but a very fun film. So what is Khud Ki Khushi? Khud Ki Khushi in Hindi for some strange reason means suicide. नहीं ना, समाज में जो भी खुद की खुशी करता है ना, हमारा परिवार, समाज सब कुछ बोलता है कुछ तो गलत कर रहा है, बहुत खुश है ये, right? But खुद खुशी in English means self happiness. But the key to self happiness is that key. The key to happiness is in your pocket. But are you going to unlock that lock of happiness? This is that journey that you want to go with me on and have some great fun. This is the film that you'll not want it to end because you say, "Chalne do na yaar." Okay. Battle of 340. What is, when you 100 रुपए का नोट होता है आपके हाथ में, 10 रुपए का नोट होता है, when you have a note, it says it's a promissory note. The note says it's a promise to value 50 rupees, 100 rupees, yes? That's how we can use that note. So this is a very intense story going back. It's being shot in Malayalam language. It's set in South. It's about promises and principles cannot be broken. If I give you a promise, I should not break it. It goes back in those times. The promises meant something. And it's a story of a carpenter. Very violent, very aggressive, new form of violence to be seen. But it's about basically somebody who's been pushed too hard, too long, who rises against the system. Yeah. Brothers, this is interesting. This is my story. 26 days that happened to me. It's a true story. I don't know how to explain to you, but it's a true story of what happened in, yeah.
It's a hectic story.
It's a hectic story of what my relationship, when something happened, and it's 26 days of, can't explain. Watch it when it happens. But it's very beautiful. It's very interesting. It's a triangular drama of how we are traditionally as a family, and then you have a business, and then you have a brother that you want to bring back home to his ailing father and a crying mother. It's an intense story that really happened. Done. But it's not the end. It's the beginning. Thank you, Ifi. Thank you, Ian. Thank you very much. Any questions?
Thank you so much for an eloquent and wonderful account of your schematic vision and the ventures that you're going to take up. And the floor is open to questions.
Oh, sorry. Apologies.
Any questions?
Yes, sir.
2 lines. Only 2 lines. 1 line. Are you going to release your movie all over India? Number 1. Number 2. Whatever you just now suggested about your forthcoming projects, you should go to Film Bazaar. That is the best platform to, make money.
So, 2 quick answers. One is, I feel currently after the digitization of the entire planet, platforms are irrelevant now, whether you watch your phone, laptop, OTT, satellite. I don't understand all this. I'm an old school cinema guy. My dream is that the entire planet should see our films.
I ask you for theatrical release.
Yeah, so that's what I'm coming to. I feel that when you make a cinema, you design a cinema. So I'll give you an example that if you make a mobile cinema and you want people to watch on phone, it's got to be written differently.
Yeah.
So my aim is cinema. This is cinema. There's nothing OTT. I don't understand OTT. I like cinema.
Correct.
That's why you never saw any series mentioned here. And your second question was, I should go to the bazaar. You know what? I'll just give you a Hindi phrase. मैं कला का पुजारी हूँ बचपन से. मेरी beginning बहुत humble थी. कुछ नहीं था मेरे पास. 23 startups in 23 years from nothing. मैं कला से अगर कारोबार बन गया ना, तो मैं रिसीव कर लूँगा. वरना मैं कला में ही रहूँगा. I'm a lover of art. If art becomes commercial art, then I'll go to bazaar.
To be very practical, कारोबार से कला होती है.
हो सकती है सर, कैसे भी आज तक तो कुछ भी हो सकता है सर. चांद पे पहुँच गए हैं.
God bless you. Wishing you great success.
Thank you. No, very kind of you, sir. Thank you.
Movie here. Best of.
Thank you.
So is it a collaborative project?
Yeah, very valid question. I'll answer, then he can chip in. I feel cinema is one person's dream that becomes a collective dream of 1,000 people, and then millions who watch it. Even when we watch a film, we become a shareholder. We invest money, 500 rupees, we invest 3 hours of our life. Cinema is a brilliant experience. It's wow. One guy sees, every night I sleep with a dream, and then I only wake up to make that dream come true. So it's a beautiful collaborative process, and no film can be made individually. Some films may have 7 partners, 8 partners, I don't know.
No,
But I am only the spark.
I mean to say international collaboration.
Yes.
You are going to have
You
it.
can
So
answer.
I'll talk to that. So it's a good time right now for international collaboration, in spite of what's going on in the world where everything seems to be polarized. The reality is, whether it's Australia, whether it's Canada, whether it's South Africa, there's many markets that are supporting international film. They want to have it shot in their countries, they're prepared to participate, to invest, to subsidize, etc. And many of the stories actually cross into different geographies. The stories that have been written geographically, they move into different territories. So it's a perfect setup. I mean, I know immediately of 3 pictures that have been shown here where we're talking about Russia, we're talking about Canada, we're talking about Australia as a collaborative effort. So collaboration in terms of location and support with organizations from those territories, collaboration in terms of other directors, writers, etc. is also on the cards. You can't, as he says, he's the guy that's got the spark, he's the visionary. I hosted a panel now for 45 minutes, close to an hour with David Darwan and with Madhur, MB.
No.
MB, Madhur, MB, MB. And then Priyadarshan at the end. These gentlemen who are legends from your industry could not speak more highly about what Shailendra's done and the films they've done with him, whether it's Malamal Weekly or Page 3 or whichever film it was, that Traffic Control, etc. Traffic Signal, I beg your pardon. Sorry guys. Corporate, etc. They got highly recognized and awarded. These major people are saying, that's my friend that I'm hearing about from these legends. It's not all bullshit. He actually does this stuff. It's real. But it starts with a vision. And I think Priyashan Daka said he's the only producer he's ever worked with. He says it in a beautiful, very moving tribute, where he said, I have an idea, and Shailendra said, I'll back that idea. And he made the film, and they went to the Toronto Film Festival.
It's the film Kanjivaram.
Kanjivaram.
It won the national award in the popular category for producer, director, actor. Brilliant film.
And Priya says that's for him his most important film that he's made, only made possible by him. And the only lost out to Slumdog Millionaire,
Yes.
which is fair to lose to Slumdog. You know, in Toronto, 1,100 people paying to be there to see the show. Amazing. So talk about collaboration there. I see from your own industry, incredible collaboration with legends. And he also supports young people, which I love.
Yeah.
Young talent. That's
Yeah,
really like us, like me. He's
Like-
backing me, the young talent breaking the you know?
Two things I want to say. I feel that we Indians need the support of the government, and I feel, coming to IFFI this time, I feel the energy, my God, it's lit up. It's like a festival. Someone looks small in front of this now. So I love what the ministry is doing, and I like the leadership of Mr. Anurag Thakur. He says that there's a 20% growth. Mr. Pratul Kumar, Tushar, the whole team. I mean, this is the finest experience we've had interacting with all of you gentlemen. We've seamless. This is unbelievable that this is happening, and therefore I feel that I can be an Indian dreamer with the support of our government and Mr. Anurag Thakur and the IB ministry, that they will help me make this come true, because this increases employment, hopes, drops borders and boundaries. This is beautiful. And one last point I just want to make before we all go and do our next thing. Kanjivaram that we mentioned. Priyadarshan is done 96 films in 5 languages. Okay? Kala Pani, Virasat, Gardish, Heraferi, Halchal, Hangama, Bhool Bhulaiya. You remember, right? In his peak, when he was getting, I don't want to say for tax reasons, but he was getting a lot of money for direction. We had an intellectual conversation on creativity. And he told me this one-liner in a car at Juhu Circle, I remember. And I said, I'll make the movie. This is what he said in the video. We played it just now, and most of us had tears. And I said, I'll make it. He says, nobody wants to make it. Everybody wants me to make the next Hera Fairy. And I said, I'm going to make this movie. Because this is a story, it's a father-daughter relationship. And I said, but I have a condition. You'll make it now. And he had signed 9 movies, taken advances. He cancelled all 9 films. Prakash Raj was shooting a South Indian film with long hair. He went bald. There's an article in the papers in Chennai saying that the producer is going to sue Prakash Raj for this. Everybody chipped in. We lived in tents. Priyadarshan and Sabu Serial cooked food. Traveled in ambassador car. Guess what the cost was of Kanjivaram was? 1 crore and 8 lakhs. Watch that movie. 1 crore 8 lakh. Priyadarshan at his peak. Sabu Serial at his peak. Prakash Raj at his peak. That is the power of creativity. Once you believe in a story, who cares about commerce?
But we all feel, you are a billionaire.
I wish he was. Everybody keeps telling me, I'm saying, fuck, brother, excuse me, where's the money? Excuse my Tory lady. I'm sorry.
Hey.
Sorry, excuse me.
That's
I didn't say that, please. Apologies.
Okay.
All the best.
Yeah, we're gonna do more. We're gonna
Are we done? Before I get into the wrong trouble.
No more questions.
It's all good.
Thank you so much for joining.
We're just gonna do a moment.